This is Billy Pond, aka Bloody Bill, and you're watching my favorite clown, Mr. Tony of the Dead. Now let's go outside somebody's window and jack off already.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Mr. Tony of the Dead here, and I have another movie review for everybody out there. This one's on a movie called Blood Rage. This is from Arrow Films USA, and it's directed by John Grissmar. And in this movie we have Louise Lasser, Mark Sofer, Julie Gordon, Jane Benson, Marianne Cantner, James Farrell, Chad Montgomery, Lisa Randall, William Fuller, Doug Weiser, Jerry Liu, Ed French, and Ted Raimi as the condom salesman. What this movie is about, it's about these two twins, Terry and Todd, and they seem like normal kids and everything. They're at the movie theater with their mom, who's on a date, and they wake up seeing that the mom is making out with her boyfriend or her date or whatever, and they decide, well, let's venture off. So they venture off, and being that it's a drive-in theater, it's 1974. There's a lot of, you know, making out and sex in cars and stuff, and like a lot of typical things teenagers do, and, you know, drugs and sex. And they see that there's this couple in a car making out and, you know, gonna have sex, and the twin Terry decides to watch them, and then the guy sees him and says, "Get out of here, creep," you know. So then Terry takes upon himself to put an axe in the guy's head, and his date runs off, the dead guy's date. And when the other twin, Todd, sees this, he goes like catatonic. He doesn't say anything, nothing. So Terry blames Todd for all this. He covers him in blood, smears the blood on him, gives the axe to him, and he's like, "Mommy, mommy, mommy." Oh my God, and everybody thinks that Todd did this. So flash 10 years later, Todd and Terry, you know, they're both growing up, but Todd is in a mental institution and Terry just lived out his life. He never did anything else after that again, because if he did, it would obviously be, you know, wasn't his brother. It had to be him that did it, so he kept quiet for all this time. And then certain things arise that kind of trigger these emotions again, but they don't get acted upon. And then all this happening, Todd starts to come around a little more. He escapes from the mental institution and shows up to the family's house on Thanksgiving, and that kind of triggers like, well, he's here now, Terry's going to go back on his old ways. And so they are constantly looking for Todd this whole time while Terry's doing the killing, and Todd's getting all the blame even though he never did anything wrong. So that's what this story is about. What I like about this movie, well, being that it was the first time I've ever seen it before, I never heard of it before, it was really good to me. I really liked it. It was just the right amount of cheesiness to it, a really cool slasher, and I really dug the practical effects in this movie. There was a lot of practical effects, a lot of there was like bodies cut in half and dismembering people, a lot of, you know, stabbing. You could see the knife coming through the back. A lot of really cool stuff like that. I really dug that. The score, I really dug the score to this. It really fit with everything that was going on. I also even liked the scene. It was shot down in Florida, so it kind of had like the palm trees going around, and like the apartment complex they were at had these like stone paths and stuff, and there was like bridges that were shot not on location, but like they made it that it was part of the apartment complex. So like it all meshed together really well. I really enjoyed that a lot. What didn't I like about this movie? Well, I think my major gripe with this was the mom's acting in this, which was by Louise Lasser. I know she's like a known actress and everything, but like the way she delivered the lines were pretty bad. I know this is like cheesy, it's an 80s, you know, slasher movie, but like her lines were just delivered like, oh, like painfully. But she made up with the acting with her body actions, and without having, when she didn't say anything and see what she's doing, you could see the emotions coming out in her face. Like, you know, you can tell what she's thinking. So she kind of saved herself in that way, but when she talked, I just didn't really care for it. It was like kind of almost overacting in a way. That's pretty much the only thing I didn't like about this movie. This version of Blood Rage from Arrow, it has a 3 discs to it, and there's 2 Blu-rays and a DVD. And on the first Blu-ray, it's Blood Rage, and it's the original home video version, and which really was the version I watched first. I just put the first disc in, and it's compared to the other disc, like this one has a lot of the murder scenes in that are like longer. While the second disc was Nightmare at Shadow Woods, and it's the theatrical recut and an alternate composite cut combining footage from both versions. So it even gives you a warning, like you'll notice the difference because it's in 2K restoration, but when like a part that was cut out from the other version, it's like not perfect. It's almost, it wouldn't say it's VHS quality, but it's definitely noticeable. And the second disc also takes out a lot of the killing parts. Like there's, like I said, in the first disc, you know, you'll see more dismemberments, and the scenes go on longer. They're really done very well. And you know, a lot of, like I said, hands coming off and heads getting split in half and stuff like that. While the second disc kind of cuts that, kind of like takes it away from you in a way. And you know, so I was like going into it like I don't really care for that part. With if you're going for, if you know you're all about blood and guts and that, I'd say watch the first disc. But the second disc includes other things that kind of get cut out of the first disc, with like explaining like certain characters. So if you want to know more about other characters, it's in the second disc. So you need to see both to really appreciate this movie even more and understand certain people. Like you might have an opinion about somebody in the while watching the first disc, and then you see a second disc and they add more to them. And it's like, okay, I get them a little more now. Also on the first disc, it shows up on the original title. It comes up Slasher instead of Blood Rage, while the other one is, you know, Nightmare at Shadow Woods, and another title says Blood Rage too. It's really cool that they have all of these on here, like that you need to watch all the discs. It's really cool. Also, the second disc is a limited edition exclusive that only comes with this version, of course. And of course, this is chock full of special features. There is a audio commentary with the director John Grishmer. I did not listen to the commentary, I'm sad to say, but there's also on here, there's Both Sides of the Camera, which is an interview with producer actress Marianne Cantor. Double Jeopardy, it's an interview with actor Mark Soper, who played Terry and Todd. And there's Geez Louise, which is an interview with Louise Lasser. And then Man Behind the Mayhem, interview with special makeup effects creator Ed French. And then there's 3 minutes with Ted Raimi explaining his part in the movie, which basically he almost called it quits in Hollywood. He's like, Dad, I'm coming home. And then 2 days later, he got this part. And it's a small part, and when you see it, it's like, hey, Ted Raimi's in this. I didn't know that. That's really cool. But he talks about that. And then there's, well, probably my favorite thing on here, one of my favorite things is Return to Shadow Woods. And it's this guy who actually was in the theater back in the day who saw Blood Rage in the theater. And he takes you around Florida to the various locations where they shot this movie. And a lot of it looks the same nowadays. Like he takes you to a mental institution, he takes you to the apartment complex, which is still there. And it's just very interesting to see like the before and you know, now pictures. And it's really done very well. It's a short segment, but it's really it's my favorite one. And then there's alternate opening titles, the motion stills, and rare behind the scenes makeup photos and stuff like that. So it's really full of a lot of stuff. And of course you have the new cover here. This is the new Slipcover, which is really cool. And if seeing the movie, obviously you'll know what this is. And you can kind of feel this is kind of smooth. It's different from this texture, along with the title here. It's kind of, it's not embossed, but it's like a different texture and a different feel to it. And then here you have the new artwork, and that is Terry on the cover there. Very cool artwork. I like that a lot. And inside comes with a booklet where it just tells you, you know, who's in the movie, and it has different pictures. And there's the opening scene. Some bloody popcorn. There's a thanks to Blood Rage and all that. You know, a lot of good stuff, a lot of information on the movie. Very interesting. I don't want to go too far into it because there's some scenes that like are spoilers in this, but it's a very cool booklet, a lot of information. And then you have the 3 discs. There's the first Blu-ray, the first one I watched, and then the next one, Nightmare at Shadow Woods, right there, and then the DVD. And I like that all 3 of them have different covers on. Like that has the slip cover, and that's just like, you know, kind of a plain normal one. And this is the original artwork. And then you have the sleeve, which you know, of course, has the newer artwork on. Then it's reversed You have the old one on. I really like both. I honestly, I don't know which one I like better. They both work with the movie very well. Like, I didn't know who that was at first, obviously, until watching the movie. But I really dug that as well. They're both really cool. I can't really decide. This movie has also one of the funniest taglines I've ever seen before. It's not cranberry sauce. Well, that's it, everybody. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. I would say definitely check this movie out. It's a lot of fun. A lot of good cheesiness. If you're into like 80s slashers, it's definitely for you. Check it out. Make sure you check out the trailer at the end of this video. Also check out the links in the description box below where you can check out this movie. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and please subscribe. Also make sure you hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Tumblr. Well, that's it, everybody. Thanks for watching and talk to you later. Bye.
I got him, Doc.
Put that gun down. It's his twin. Can't you see? You are Terry, aren't you? Don't worry about the gun. It's only a tranquilizer gun. Now listen, I'm Dr. Berman. I'm from the Institute. I want to see your mother.
Dr. Berman, did you find him?
No, I haven't even looked yet.
What's that gun?
Well, seeing as how we have a new head of the family, I think it's time you started pulling your own weight around here.
Thanks, buddy.
Yes, he did.
And that's your favorite shot you were talking about there?
Well, I have so many favorite shots.
Don't forget, my film was going back and forth to New York every night, and I was seeing the dailies, because you got to see the dailies to make sure you're matching up, otherwise you're in big trouble.
In Jacksonville, Florida, which is some kind of special location as I remember it, it's a really good place to shoot a horror film, I'll just kind of say that.
I didn't know it was a genre. I didn't know it was anything. I just knew it was very hard to do.
I saw myself in the dailies and I said, you know, this is screwy. Forget it. You know, just do your work.
I had written my father, in those days there was no internet, so I had written him a letter saying, I'm coming home, you were right, I'm sorry I put you through all this, coming home, I don't want to, there's no acting jobs, you were right. Wrote him that letter, sent it off, and 2 days later I got that part.
I didn't realize it at the time as I sat in that dark movie theater, but some of the film had been shot just a few hundred yards from where I was living.
It's the story of my life. I'm a survivor, you know?
Oh, come on, Artie. You got a few good years left on that puss of yours.
Sure, I'm all right.
What is that thing in your hand?
It's Todd's. Not totally out of his mind. He's killing people all over the complex.
Why? Why are you doing this?
It's not cranberry sauce.